Captain Sarah Chen stood at the command center of the TS Hyperion, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the outer reaches of human space. The massive vessel, stretching 4 kilometers from bow to stern, represented humanity's most advanced achievement in military engineering. After centuries of interstellar exploration and colonization, humans had learned to build ships that could stand against anything the universe might throw at them. "Multiple contacts detected, Captain," announced Lieutenant James Rodriguez, his cybernetically enhanced fingers dancing across the sensor station's controls. "They're appearing just beyond the Arcturus defense perimeter. Count is 75 vessels. No known configuration matches in our database." Sarah's augmented eyes narrowed, focusing on the tactical overlay. The unknown ships moved with precise coordination, their formation suggesting military training and experience. After 200 years of space exploration, humanity had encountered its share of alien civilizations, but none had ever approached with such obvious military intent. "Analysis of their weapon systems," Sarah asked, her voice calm despite the tension building on the bridge. Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's chief weapons officer, spoke up from her station. "Energy signatures suggest directed plasma weapons, quantum phase torpedoes, and something else. There's a technology base we've never seen before, Captain. They're advanced, but in different ways than us." The Hyperion's AI, designated Araya, materialized as a holographic figure beside Sarah. "Captain, I've analyzed their approach vector. They're deliberately positioning themselves to cut off our primary colony routes. This is not a random encounter." Sarah nodded, years of command experience helping her maintain composure. Humanity had fought its way across the stars, surviving everything from natural disasters to hostile environments. They hadn't come this far to be intimidated by unknown aggressors. "Open a channel," she ordered. "All frequencies, first contact protocols." The alien fleet's response came swiftly, but not in the form of communication. 3 smaller vessels broke formation, accelerating toward the Hyperion with weapons charging. "They're not here to talk, Captain," Rodriguez reported, his voice tight. Sarah's expression hardened. "No, they're here to learn a lesson. Deploy quantum shields. Bring all defense systems online. Let's show them why humanity survived the Great Exodus." The Hyperion's massive frame hummed as its advanced defensive systems activated. Layers of quantum-shifted energy fields surrounded the ship, while hidden weapon ports began to open along its hull. The vessel's design philosophy reflected centuries of human innovation, appearing deceptively simple on the outside while housing technologies that most species couldn't even comprehend. "Incoming transmission," announced Communications Officer Lisa Wong. "Text only, universal mathematical format." The message appeared on the main screen. "Submit to evaluation or face extinction. Your species' rapid technological advancement poses an unacceptable risk to galactic stability." A slight smile crossed Sarah's face. They weren't the first to underestimate humanity, and they probably wouldn't be the last. "Send our response. The only evaluation happening today will be of your judgment in choosing this course of action." "Multiple weapon locks detected," Rodriguez reported. "They're targeting our primary reactor sections. They've done their homework." Sarah straightened her uniform, a habit from her academy days. "ARIA, initiate combat protocols. Tactical, prepare to demonstrate why humanity doesn't fear the dark anymore." The alien vessels opened fire first, their plasma weapons creating brilliant streaks across space. The Hyperion's quantum shields absorbed the attacks without strain, the advanced defense systems automatically adapting to the enemy weapon frequencies. "Their technology is impressive," Dr. Patel noted, "but they're fighting with textbook tactics. No imagination, no adaptation." "Show them how humanity fights," Sarah ordered. "Tactical, you have weapons free. Selective targeting only. Let's give them a chance to reconsider their choices." The Hyperion's response was precisely calculated. Quantum phase beams lanced out from concealed ports, striking the lead vessel's propulsion systems with surgical precision. The alien shift shields, advanced by most standards, offered no more resistance than tissue paper. Direct hits, Rodriguez reported, unable to keep a note of satisfaction from his voice. 3 enemy vessels disabled, no catastrophic damage. The rest of their fleet is holding position. New transmission incoming, Wong announced. Full spectrum this time. The main screen illuminated with the image of an alien bridge. The commander appeared to be a tall, elegantly proportioned being with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes. Its expression, even on an alien face, clearly showed surprise. "This is impossible," the alien commander stated, its words automatically translated by AI. "Your technology. You cannot have advanced this far so quickly." "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the TSS Hyperion," Sarah responded, her voice firm but diplomatic. "We've advanced exactly as far as we needed to survive. Now shall we discuss this situation like rational beings, or do you need further demonstration of humanity's capabilities?" The alien commander's scales shifted color, a sign that ARIA's cultural database suggested indicated deep thought or concern. Perhaps we have made an error in judgment. You understand, of course, that we must protect the galaxy from potentially destabilizing forces." "We understand protection," Sarah replied. "We also understand cooperation. The choice of which path we take today is yours." As the diplomatic exchange began in earnest, Sarah couldn't help but reflect on the irony. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for threats from the unknown, only to find that their greatest asset wasn't their advanced technology or powerful weapons. It was their ability to turn potential enemies into allies through a demonstration of strength tempered with wisdom. The stars watched silently as ancient prejudices began to give way to new possibilities, and humanity took another step forward in its journey among the stars. In the aftermath of the initial confrontation, the Hyperion's bridge hummed with activity as the crew analyzed every scrap of data from their brief exchange with the alien fleet. Dr. Maya Patel's cybernetically enhanced fingers moved swiftly across her console, mapping the intricacies of the alien vessel's technology. "Their entire technological foundation is different from ours," she reported to Captain Chen, who stood studying the holographic displays. "While we focused on quantum mechanics and energy manipulation, they pursued advances in biological integration and plasmodynamics." The alien fleet maintained a respectful distance now, their disabled ships having been retrieved by their companions. Through the main viewport, their vessels gleamed like polished obsidian under the distant starlight. "ARIA, analysis of their tactical capabilities," Sarah asked, her augmented eyes processing multiple data streams simultaneously. The eye's holographic form shimmered as it compiled the information. "Their ships show signs of extensive biological components integrated with mechanical systems, highly efficient, but vulnerable to our quantum-based weapons. They clearly never anticipated encountering technology like ours." Commander Zhao Lin, the Hyperion's tactical officer, stepped forward. His neural implants glowed faintly as he connected with the ship's combat systems. "Captain, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from their fleet. They're reconfiguring their shields, attempting to adapt to our weapon systems." Sarah nodded appreciatively. "Quick learners. That's good. It means they're intelligent enough to recognize when they're outmatched. Open a channel to their command ship." The alien commander's image appeared once again, its scales now a deep shade of blue that ARIA's database suggested indicated serious contemplation. "Captain Chen, we have analyzed your vessel's capabilities. Your species' technological development is unprecedented, as is your biological integration technology," Sarah replied diplomatically. "Perhaps there are things we could learn from each other." The alien commander's upper eyes blinked in sequence. "You offer exchange of knowledge, after we threatened your species with extinction. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, Commander," Sarah explained, allowing a small smile. "It's our ability to adapt and grow. We've learned that enemies can become allies when both sides recognize the benefits of cooperation." Dr. Patel's console suddenly lit up with alerts. Captain, they're powering up something massive. Energy readings are off the charts. The alien fleet began to move in perfect synchronization, their ships arranging themselves in a complex geometric pattern. Energy began to flow between their vessels, creating a web of brilliant plasma streams. This is not an attack, the alien commander assured them quickly. This is a demonstration of our own capabilities. You have shown us respect through strength. We shall do the same. The energy web continued to grow, and suddenly a massive portal began to form at the center of their formation. Through it, the crew of the Hyperion could see what appeared to be another region of space entirely. Incredible, Dr. Patel breathed. They've created a stable biological quantum tunnel. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical. A technology we developed for rapid deployment, the alien commander explained, a note of pride in its translated voice. Our ships can share energy and function as a single organism when needed. We are the Synthri, and we have guarded this sector of space for 10,000 years. Sarah studied the display thoughtfully. The Synthri's technology might be different, but it was equally impressive in its own way. Then perhaps it's time for new guardians to join the old. Humanity has much to offer in terms of defense and innovation. The next several hours were spent in detailed technical exchanges. The Synthri's biological technology complemented human quantum engineering in ways neither side had anticipated. Where humans had mastered energy manipulation and quantum mechanics, the Synthri had perfected biological computing and organic energy distribution. Commander Zhao Lin worked closely with his Synthri counterparts, sharing tactical analyses and defense strategies. Their biological ships can heal themselves, Captain, he reported with barely contained excitement. Imagine combining that with our quantum shields. The Synthri commander, whose name translated as Echo of Stars, seemed equally fascinated by human innovations. Your quantum technology could revolutionize our biological systems. The potential applications are extensive. As the exchange of knowledge continued, Sarah received a private message from Araya. Captain, I've completed my analysis of their cultural database. The Synthri's aggression stemmed from fear. They've seen too many young species destroy themselves with rapid technological advancement. Their evaluation was actually an attempt to prevent what they saw as our inevitable self-destruction. Sarah acknowledged the information with a subtle nod. The universe was vast and often dangerous, but today had proven that understanding could emerge from conflict, and strength could forge bonds rather than break them. Echo of Stars. She addressed the alien commander. I propose we formalize this exchange of knowledge. Humanity's quantum engineering combined with your biological technology could advance both our species. The Synthri commander's scales shifted to a bright, luminescent purple. Agreed, Captain Chen. Perhaps we were too hasty in our judgment. Your species has shown not only technological prowess, but wisdom in its application. As the two fleets began positioning themselves for joint maneuvers and technology demonstrations, Sarah couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not just through power, but through the ability to turn confrontation into cooperation. The stars seemed to shine brighter as two vastly different approaches to technology began to merge, promising a future neither species could have achieved alone. The tentative peace between human and Synthri forces lasted exactly 6 standard days before everything changed. Captain Sarah Chen was reviewing preliminary technology exchange protocols when Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice cut through the quiet of her ready room. Captain to the bridge, emergency. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. It's the Synthri separatists. Sarah reached the bridge in time to see massive tears in spacetime erupting around the Hyperion. From these wounds in reality emerged vessels that looked like corrupted versions of the Synthri ships they'd encountered before, their biological components twisted and mutated, mechanical parts grafted on haphazardly. Report, she ordered, taking her command position as Araya's holographic form materialized beside her. 37 hostile vessels, Commander Zhaolin answered, his neural implants pulsing rapidly. They're using some hybrid of synthery biological tech and stolen quantum weapons. Echo of Stars is hailing us. The synthery commander's image appeared, his scales now a mottled gray of distress. Captain Chen, these are the outcasts, those who refuse to accept our species' traditional ways. They've been stealing technology from across the galaxy, integrating it without understanding or care for the consequences. Their ships are abominations, Dr. Petal reported, her augmented eyes scanning the readings. The biological and mechanical components are fighting each other. They're literally tearing themselves apart to maintain power. The lead separatist vessel broadcast on all frequencies, its message filled with static and distortion. The old ways fall today. We will take your technologies by force and prove that progress cannot be contained. Sarah's expression hardened as she assessed the tactical situation. The separatists had positioned themselves between Hyperion and the main synthery fleet, using the chaos of their quantum ruptures to disrupt communications and coordination. They're launching fighters, Rodriguez announced. Biological drones merged with quantum warheads, if even one of those reaches a ship's hull. Not today. Sarah cut him off. Execute combat pattern Delta. Commander Lin, coordinate with Echo of Stars. We need to contain those ruptures before they destabilize this entire sector. The Hyperion's responses came instantly as ARIA interfaced with all systems simultaneously. Quantum shields reconfigured to create a multi-layer defense grid, while the ship's advanced weapons came online with a low hum that resonated through the hull. The battle erupted in a display of technologies never meant to work together. The separatists' hybrid weapons created unpredictable effects, their corrupted biological components reacting chaotically with stolen quantum tech. Space itself seemed to warp around their ships as they pressed their attack. Their desperation makes them dangerous. Echo of Stars warned, his voice tight with concern. They've lost too many battles, stolen too much technology. They no longer care about survival, only victory at any cost. Sarah watched as a separatist cruiser's biological components began to rupture, its quantum core going critical. They're willing to destroy themselves to destroy us. ARIA, analysis of their attack pattern. They're attempting to force us into the quantum ruptures. The AI reported. Current calculations suggest they've rigged their ships to collapse into artificial singularities upon destruction. The implications were clear. The separatists weren't just fighting a battle, they were trying to tear open a wound in space-time that would consume everything in the sector. Their pride and desperation had driven them to the ultimate act of destruction. Dr. Patel, Sarah called, can we use their hybrid technology against them? The weapons officer's hands flew across her console. Their biological components are unstable, but they're still based on synthery tech. If we modify our quantum beams to resonate at the same frequency as their organic systems, do it, Sarah ordered. Commander Lin, coordinate with the synthery fleet. Time to show these separatists what true cooperation looks like. The Hyperion's weapon systems reconfigured, its quantum beams now pulsing with a frequency that matched the base resonance of synthery biological technology. The main synthery fleet, following Echo of Stars' lead, began to arrange themselves in their energy-sharing formation. Fire, Sarah commanded, her voice carrying the weight of certainty. The modified quantum beams struck the separatist ships, not damaging them, but instead forcing their biological components back into harmony. Ships that had been tearing themselves apart suddenly found their systems realigning. The chaos of their hybrid technology, subdued by the precisely calculated intervention. It's working, Dr. Puddle reported with satisfaction. Their biological systems are asserting control over the stolen tech. They're losing weapons control. The synthery fleet's combined energy had reached out, enveloping the disabled separatist vessels. Where once they had used this technique to create portals, now they used it to contain and stabilize their corrupted brethren. As the last separatist ship was secured, Echo of Stars transmitted to all frequencies. Let this be the final lesson of pride and prejudice. Technology without wisdom, progress without purpose, these lead only to destruction. Sarah nodded solemnly. The battle had proven that the greatest dangers often came not from external threats, but from the inability to accept change and cooperation. The Separatists' blind pride in their stolen power had nearly caused a catastrophe that cooperation and understanding had prevented. As the combined fleets began the task of containing the quantum ruptures and securing the Separatist vessels, Sarah reflected that perhaps this had been the true test, not of technology or military might, but of the wisdom to know when to fight and when to heal. The stars watched silently as human and synthery ships worked together, their different technologies complementing each other in a dance of restoration rather than destruction. In the aftermath of the Separatist attack, the TSS Hyperion's medical bay buzzed with activity as Dr. Elena Santos worked to understand the biological components they'd recovered from the damaged ships. Her hands moved gracefully through the holographic display of alien cellular structures, while Captain Sarah Chen watched intently. "It's remarkable," Elena explained, manipulating the 3D model. The Separatists weren't just stealing technology. They were trying to force an evolutionary leap. Their bodies couldn't handle the integration of quantum technologies, so they started modifying their own biological makeup. Sarah studied the complex patterns of mutation and modification. They were willing to rewrite their own nature to achieve power. But why? The synthery already possessed remarkable technology. Araya's holographic form appeared, adding new data streams to the display. "Captain, I've completed analysis of the Separatist command ship's database. Their actions were driven by more than simple pride or ambition. They discovered something in deep space, something that frightened them enough to abandon their principles." The medical bay's doors slid open as Echo of Stars entered, his scales a deep shade of morning purple. "We should have seen it sooner," the synthery commander said. The Separatists' desperate actions, their frantic gathering of technologies. They were preparing for war. Against what? Sarah asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. Echo of Stars gestured, and a holographic star map appeared in the center of the room. The void between galaxies is not empty as most believe. There are things that dwell in that darkness. Things that make our combined fleet look primitive in comparison. The Separatists found one of their advanced scouts. Dr. Santos' hands froze over her console. That explains the biological modifications. They weren't just trying to integrate quantum technology. They were trying to create defenses against something specific. Araya processed the new information rapidly. The cellular structures show signs of hardening against exotic particle radiation. The quantum hybridization wasn't random. They were attempting to create shields that could operate on multiple dimensional planes simultaneously. Sarah's augmented eyes narrowed as she processed the implications. The Separatists didn't trust that your traditional methods could protect against this threat. Instead of working together, they chose to transform themselves into weapons. A choice born of fear, Echo of Stars acknowledged, his scales shifting in patterns of regret. But perhaps their discovery, though handled poorly, was a gift. Now we know what approaches from the void, and we have time to prepare, together. Commander Zhao Lin's voice came over the intercom. "Captain, we're detecting unusual quantum signatures from the recovered Separatist vessels. Their biological components are evolving." "Not evolving," Dr. Santos corrected, studying the new data. "Adapting. Even damaged and inactive, their systems are responding to some external stimulus we can't detect yet. Whatever the Separatists saw out there, these ships can sense it." Sarah turned to Echo of Stars. "Your people have guarded this sector for millennia. Humanity has fought its way across the stars, surviving everything the universe has thrown at us. Perhaps this is why we met, not to fight each other, but to stand together against something far worse." The synthery commander's scales brightened with determination. "Our biological technology, combined with your quantum engineering, we might achieve what the Separatists couldn't. Not through forced evolution or stolen power, but through genuine cooperation and understanding. Dr. Santos, Sarah ordered, work with the Synthery scientists. I want to know everything about these modifications and what they were designed to defend against. Commander Lin, coordinate with their tactical officers, start developing integrated combat strategies. Aria's holographic form flickered as it processed massive amounts of data. Captain, I'm detecting similar quantum signatures at the edge of our sensor range. Whatever the Separatists were preparing for, it's getting closer. Echo of Stars moved to the star map, his movements carrying the weight of ancient responsibility. We called ourselves guardians of this sector, but perhaps we were really guardians of something much more important, the future itself. Will humanity stand with us, Captain Chen? Sarah's response was immediate and firm. We didn't survive the loss of Earth, the challenges of space, and countless other trials to back down now. Humanity doesn't run from threats. We face them, we adapt, and we overcome. The medical bay's displays showed the continuing evolution of the Separatist technology, but now it wasn't a sign of desperate fear. It was a blueprint for cooperation. Human quantum engineering could stabilize and enhance the Synthery's biological systems, while their organic technology could make human ships more adaptable and resilient. As the combined fleet began preparations for what was to come, Sarah reflected that this was what humanity did best, taking impossible situations and turning them into opportunities for growth and advancement. The void between galaxies might hold unimaginable threats, but it would face something it hadn't counted on: two species working as one, combining the best of both their natures. The stars seemed to pulse with new energy as human and Synthery ships moved in formation, beginning the exercises that would forge them into a single fighting force. The future was uncertain, but they would face it together, with strength born of understanding and unity born of respect. The void between galaxies rippled with distorted space-time as the combined human-Synthery fleet held position at the edge of known space. The TSS Hyperion's bridge was silent except for the soft hum of instruments as Captain Sarah Chen studied the quantum anomalies growing before them. Contact, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, his voice steady despite the tension. Multiple signatures emerging from subspace. They're massive. The viewport filled with shapes that defied conventional physics, vast crystalline structures that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Where the ships touched normal space, reality itself appeared to bend and distort. The Voidborn, Echo of Stars, transmitted from his flagship, just as the Separatists warned. They consume entire galaxies, breaking down the barriers between dimensions until nothing remains but chaos. Sarah watched as the alien fleet approached, their ships making the Hyperion look tiny in comparison. But humanity had long since learned that size wasn't everything. All ships, execute Integration Protocol Alpha. ARIA, begin quantum synchronization with Synthery biological systems. A combined fleet responded as one. Human quantum technology merged seamlessly with Synthery biological engineering, creating something entirely new. The Hyperion's hull pulsed with organic energy patterns, while Echo of Stars' flagship crackled with quantum field projections. They're scanning us, Dr. Paddle reported from her station. Their energy readings, it's like they're trying to understand what we are. The Voidborn ships halted their advance, and for a moment, space itself seemed to hold its breath. Then a transmission came through, not in any known language, but in pure mathematical concepts that ARIA and the Synthery biological computers translated simultaneously. They're confused, ARIA announced. Our combined technology doesn't match any pattern they've encountered in thousands of galaxies. We're an anomaly they can't categorize. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Then let's give them something else to think about. All ships, Combat Formation Delta. Show them what cooperation really means. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations by both species. Human quantum weapons, enhanced by Synthery biological targeting systems, struck with unprecedented precision. Synthry energy webs, stabilized by human quantum field technology, contained and redirected the Voidborn's dimensional attacks. Their ships are adapting, Commander Lin reported, his neural implants glowing as he coordinated the fleet's movements. But so are we. The biological components are learning from each encounter, and our quantum systems are evolving to match. The Voidborn's initial confusion turned to something approaching concern as their standard tactics failed against the unified fleet. Their attempts to separate the Allied ships proved futile. Human and Synthry vessels moved as one, covering each other's weaknesses and enhancing each other's strengths. "They're retreating," Echo of Stars announced, his scales shimmering with victory colors. "Our combined defense was too much for them to overcome. But they'll be back, with new strategies and adaptations. And we'll be ready," Sarah responded firmly. This was just the first test. Proof that our alliance isn't just about survival, but about forging something new, something stronger. In the days that followed, the human and Synthry fleets began establishing a permanent joint defense force. The Hyperion's successful integration of both species' technologies became the template for a new class of vessels, ships that represented the best of both civilizations. The Voidborn have consumed countless galaxies, Echo of Stars noted during the final planning session. But they've never encountered species willing to truly combine their strengths. Perhaps that is why we found each other, not just to survive, but to show the universe a better way. Sarah looked out at the combined fleet, where human and Synthry crews now work together, as if they'd been doing so for generations. "We've both been guardians in our own way. Humanity protecting our future among the stars, your people protecting this sector of space. Now we guard something even more important, the proof that different species can become stronger together than they ever were apart." As the Hyperion took its place in the new defensive line, its hybrid systems humming with combined power, Sarah reflected that this was humanity's greatest strength, not just surviving against impossible odds, but finding ways to turn those challenges into opportunities for growth and unity. The stars shone bright against the void, no longer seeming quite so dark or empty. Whatever threats emerged from the space between galaxies would face not just humanity's determination or the Synthry's ancient wisdom, but the combined strength of two species that had learned to fight as one. A new dawn had truly risen for both civilizations, and its light would reach far beyond their own galaxy.